welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Moments away from kickoff, Jacksonville won the toss. They have elected to defer, so Carson Wentz and the Colts will get the ball first. And Sherry Burris, Carson has a lot on his mind today.
Yes, he does. If he didn't enough without all this on his plate for now, Andrew. Colts quarterback Andrew Wentz and his wife are expecting their second daughter any day now. The waiting game continues, but Carson said if his wife went into labor, he was not going to miss this game. His wife Madison is here in the building today. Wentz told us, yeah, he might check his phone at halftime for updates instead of looking up at the stands for her. So it might not be a birthday today, Andrew, but it's a great day for some football.
All right, Sherry, thank you. Carson said he's having fun. 17 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions so far this year. As you take a look at the standings in the AFC South, the Colts have a chance to get back to 5-5 after beginning the year 0-3. Urban Meyer's team trying to put together back-to-back victories after their stunning and impressive performance a week ago against the Buffalo Bills. Isaiah Rodgers is back deep to receive the kick from Matthew Wright, and we are underway. Rodgers from the 5-yard line. Rodgers had his steam across the 20, and he gets it out to the 31. Carson Wentz playing a lot better, and he gives credit to the offensive line. They have picked up their pace of play over the last several weeks, only allowing 3 sacks in the last 3 games.
Let's not forget he missed a chunk of the preseason with some injuries. So Carson Wentz, we saw him in week 3 against the Tennessee Titans. He's still growing in this offense, and you're right, Andrew, he's been playing really well of late.
Foot surgery in the preseason knocked him out, but he has started every game this year. Jonathan Taylor starting at running back on 1st down and 10. And it is a handoff to Taylor. Between the tackles, has room. There he goes. Taylor down the sideline and shoved out of bounds by Rayshon Jenkins. Jonathan Taylor already with a 34-yard run.
If you were playing flag football, there's nobody close enough to even pull his flag. That's how great the blocking was at the line of scrimmage on the right side. Just a dominant start to this ball game for the Indianapolis Colts.
When they met here last year, these two teams in the season finale, Jonathan Taylor rushed for 253 yards. 44. And already Indianapolis into Jacksonville territory. Right back to Taylor. And this time he cannot escape Josh Allen and Miles Jack coming across to make the play. Miles Jack second on the team in tackles. As we take a look at the offense for the Colts, and Braden Smith, the right tackle, a bit of a question mark this week. He suffered a right elbow injury a week ago against the Jets, but he's starting today. And James T.Y. Hilton is back.
Nice. Yep, T.Y. Let's see some T.Y.s.
Just his 3rd game of the year because of injury. Wentz rolling right, throws on the run, and completes the pass. Short pickup to Michael Pittman, and Shaquille Griffin had the tackle.
What that short little gain does is get you into that 3rd down package that you really like, that 3rd and 4 to 6 range. So you got a lot of plays that are very favorable there because it's tough on the defense. If they try and blitz you and you have one-on-one, you can get a big play.
You saw Joe Cohen, the Jacksonville defensive coordinator, who put together a very strong game plan a week ago against the Bills.
This looks like man-to-man coverage. So you see that little movement there? That shows Carson Wentz it's man-to-man.
3rd down and 5. Wentz over the middle, caught by Pittman, and he's got the 1st down. And no surprise, they go to Pittman on 3rd down. He has the most receiving yards in the NFL on 3rd down this year.
Good at the line of scrimmage. Pittman is a 6'2" guy who weighs 215 pounds, who moves like a 6', 190-pound guy. Very, very good feet at the top of his route, really stuttering and bursting away from Shaquille Griffin.
There's his third down numbers this year. Now 20 catches on third down. 20 of his 51 receptions. First and 10. Taylor up the middle again inside the 20 and down at the 15. DeJuan Smoot on the tackle for Jacksonville, but 8 more yards for Taylor.
You know, one of the tough things, if you're going to play safeties deep back here, you don't have that immediate run support. So it's thin up front. There's only 6, and you've got 6 blockers. You turn one guy loose, and they run right past that one guy, and you get a positive gain. So it's just a numbers game right now for the Indianapolis Colts.
Green 80, green 80. 120.
Back to Taylor. And Jonathan Taylor picks up the first down. He entered today needing 117 yards to overtake the injured Derrick Henry for the NFL rushing lead, and he's already got 46 yards rushing today. Colts in the red zone, where they have really picked up their play. Last 4 games scoring touchdowns at a 75% clip, after what Frank Reich called an atrocious start to the red zone earlier this year.
But tongue-in-cheek, he told us one of those games was against Aaron Donald, so that's a little different.
First and 10. Ashton Doolin in motion. Wentz chased out, in trouble. Wentz throws it away as he got hit. It was Josh Allen who hit Wentz, and on contact, Wentz was able to throw it down.
You know, I think fans, especially of the Colts and maybe the Eagles, look at Carson Wentz at that moment where you're thinking, just eat it. Well, Carson Wentz is so strong that he can run through some of those tackles and still throw the ball away, as opposed to it being 2nd and 17 or 2nd and 18. Now he has 2nd and 10. So that play, that incomplete pass, really profited the Colts another 8 yards that they would have lost.
Second down and 10. Taylor, great vision, and Taylor down at the 5. Adam Gotsis makes the tackle for Jacksonville.
You know, a lot of times we'll see offensive linemen gesturing toward the line of scrimmage when they have a successful run to say, come on, coach, bring it, let's see some more. I don't see these guys doing that because they know that they're the engine that's driving this team. Whether you're running it, whether you're throwing it, this offensive line has really been put together well by the Colts.
Mark Lewinsky starting at right guard over Chris Reed today. It's 3rd and 3. Taylor is on the sideline. It's Nyheim Hines next to Wentz, who's looking to throw to the end zone, and he overshoots Mo Alley-Cox. 4th down and 3. And Frank Reich will send out his kicker, Michael Badgley.
Carson Wentz could feel a little bit of pressure, and he took one read, wasn't there, throw the ball away, take the points.
Badgley in his 5th game with the Colts has not missed a kick yet. He's 4 for 4 on field goals, and 17 out of 17 extra points. The one miss you just saw on the graphic was his 1 game with Tennessee. He missed a field goal, but hasn't missed with the Colts. Good opening drive, results in 3 points. Trevor Lawrence coming out when we return.
Happy, so happy.
3-0 Colts. Salute to Service is the NFL's year-round effort to honor, empower, and connect our nation's service members, veterans, and their families. Learn about the NFL's work with its long-standing military and veteran nonprofit partners by visiting NFL.com/salute. Rigoberto Sanchez will kick it away to Jamal Agnew, who is back deep. This is a returnable ball for Agnew from the 2. Agnew is tackled at the 22-yard line. That was Jordan Glasgow on the tackle for the Colts. Trevor Lawrence, as Urban Meyer told us last night, didn't play his best game a week ago. But when you look at the turnovers, significantly down compared to the start of the year. And James, that's one of his biggest areas of growth so far.
Yeah, learning to protect the football. When you go from high school to college, there's that big jump, and then you go from college to the pros. You always hear about quarterbacks saying, those windows are tighter. My wide receivers were so open before. Now, guys are closely covered. You can't always throw the ball where you want to throw it.
And some movement by the Jaguars before the snap. Our referee today is Tony Correnti.
False start, offense number 84. 5-yard penalty remains, first down.
That goes against Chris Manhertz, and for Jacksonville, that's their 41st offensive penalty of the season, which is the most in the NFL.
And what they are asking for is the Colts fans to be as loud as possible when you make a play like that to start the ball game.
Carlos Hyde starts at running back over James Robinson. And it's a handoff to Hyde. And Hyde hit hard. And picks up 4 on the play. Andrew Sendejo in on the tackle along with Darius Leonard. So as James mentioned in our opening segment, Mr. Robinson's neighborhood returns. James Robinson did not play a week ago because of a heel injury. He was questionable. He's back in there, and so is Cam Robinson, whose back locked up on him 10 minutes before kickoff last week against Buffalo. He did not play in that game. Walker Little, the rookie, to his credit, did a great job at left tackle. 2nd and 11. Chenault. And it's going to be 3rd down and long for Jacksonville. George Odom on the tackle for this Colts defense that is missing starting corner Xavier Rhodes today. He's out with a calf injury, so Isaiah Rodgers starting at corner for defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus.
The tough thing for opposing quarterbacks is the interior part of the Colts line gets a really good push. DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart in the middle. Those guys push up the field, and then you get guys coming in around the corner. Jacksonville
Dead last on 3rd down this year, and that one is nearly intercepted. Sendejo had a chance at it. Kwity Paye was applying the pressure on Trevor Lawrence, and it's a 3-and-out for the Jaguars.
Kwity Paye may not have a sack so far, but his pressures are increasing because you have to go back early in the season. He pulled his hamstring. So when you're trying to come back from that hamstring injury, once it gets healthy, you can see the speed that he had out there pursuing Trevor Lawrence.
Jacksonville goes 3-0. Oh, it's blocked! Punt is blocked! Scooped up by the Colts! And it's taken in! Touchdown! Zaire Franklin blocked it, and E.J. Speed scores!
Bubba Ventrone, the special teams coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts, spent 10 years as a player in the National Football League. And his experience, you kind of know where those gaps are going to be. And he talked about E.J. Speed, Ashton Doolin, guys like that who are core special teams players. And Frank Wright, from his relationship with Marv Levy and Steve Tasker being on his team, realizes the value of having a special teams unit that can be a game-changing unit.
First time in Logan Cook's career that he's had a punt blocked. And E.J. Speed with the special teams touchdown for the Colts. Badgley out for the extra point, and it is good. A disastrous start for the Jaguars. A special teams standout play by the Colts. Franklin the block, Speed the score. 10-0 Colts.
The official chip and dip of the NFL. And by King Richard. In theaters and on HBO Max Friday.
Largest children's museum in the world right here as the Colts take a 10-0 lead as we go back to the block punt. Zaire Franklin, a Syracuse graduate, blocking the punt, and E.J. Speed, who blocked the punt last year for the Colts down in Tennessee is the one this time who recovers it for a touchdown. Indianapolis with 10 points in just over 90 seconds. Here's Agnew trying to answer right back with a flag flying in. Agnew down at the 30.
Are we going to get Sanchez for headhunting? The punter who kicked off went after Agnew high. It's a crazy start if it is. Nope.
During the return of the kick, holding receiving team number 38. The penalty of assess half the distance to the goal. First down.
That's on Andre Cisco, the rookie out of Syracuse. So Jacksonville has already allowed more points in this quarter than they did all of last week against the Buffalo Bills.
Gotta have your quarterback take the team under his wing and kind of calm them down. Make some positive plays. They're in the shadow of their own end zone, but they've got to start this drive out and at least, Andrew, get 2 first downs so that they can get to a point where when they punt, they can change the field position.
James Robinson is in at running back, and Jacksonville starts this drive at their own 9-yard line. It's a give to Robinson, and he maybe gets 2 yards, pushed back by Al-Quadin Muhammad and Bobby Okereke.
When you are not fearful of the receiving core that you're facing, you can play man-to-man or you can play zone on the outside. And what that allows you to do, it allows you to have one of your safeties be part of the run-stopping package. So you're trying to fill up all the holes and all the gaps, and that safety is the additional player who can get down in that box. There's Odom, the strong safety, number 30 on the outside.
Lawrence looking to throw. Steps up, finds Robinson, hit immediately and spun down by Franklin. There is a flag down. So Zaire Franklin blocked the punt, and now a tackle for a loss as we await the call from Tony Correnti.
Holding, offense. The penalty has been declined. Result of the play creates third down.
So they'll decline it because it's third down. No gain on that last play. And once again, Jacksonville looking at what has been their big issue all season long, third downs. Urban Meyer saying this week it's a weakness. Darrell Bevel, the offensive coordinator, saying it was a major focus once again at practice this week. Lawrence looking deep down the sideline for Agnew, makes the adjustment but can't hold on. Good coverage by Rock Yassin. And once again, Jacksonville goes 3 and out.
Boy, great accuracy on the throw by Trevor Lawrence, because what he did, he made a decision early on to pick out the one-on-one matchup that he liked the best, and there's some separation there. And Agnew, who's not a big player, who's more of a special teams guy, just couldn't come down once he hit the ground with that ball.
See if the operation works a little bit better for Jacksonville this time. 4th and 8, Cook high, spiraling kick. Hines, fair catch at his own 46-yard line. So the Colts, already up by 10, will have great field position to start this drive.
With DraftKings Sportsbook's latest offer.
At Lucas Oil Stadium, we had some snow this morning in Indianapolis. Inside the NFL is now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus. Get expert insight and exclusive commentary from the hardest-hitting team in the game. James Brown, Phil Simms, Brandon Marshall, Ray Lewis, Michael Irvin, and Julian Edelman. Stream new episodes of the Emmy Award-winning series Tuesdays at 9:30 Eastern. First down and 10, and Carson Wentz to the air, throwing right, and it's caught by T.Y. Hilton. Just his 7th catch of the year in only his 3rd game. He receives a nice hand from the crowd. He missed the first 5 games of the year because of an injured neck, and then he came back, injured his quad, missed another game, and then did not play last week because he suffered a concussion on Halloween. As he said, it's been mentally a tough year, but on his 32nd birthday today, he's happy to get back out there. Second down, Taylor picks up the first and more. Taylor stays on his feet. Jonathan Taylor all the way to the 28-yard line, a gain of 20.
When you watch a runner find holes, and then what he does is he steps over Sendejo just with one little step where you think the defensive back is going to come up and make a low tackle. He got 10 yards after that miss.
We asked Carson Wentz on Friday, did you know Taylor was this good? He said, nope, didn't know he was this good, didn't know he was this fast. Here he goes again. Taylor to the 24-yard line. NFL Today update. Here's JB and Bill Cowher.
15-play drive, Bill.
Mac Jones, 3 yards of Hunter Henry, who's caught a touchdown on 6 of the last 7 games. New England ties it up with Cleveland, 7-7.
Back to Andrew Catalan.
All right, guys, thank you. Good to have some football weather. We had snow here in Indy, some snow at Lambeau later.
As long as they keep the roof closed, keep the weather outside for the football weather.
Says the San Diego resident. Second down and 5. Play fake. Wentz hit as he throws, incomplete. Pressure was coming, and it was Josh Allen who hit Wentz. Allen, the reigning AFC Defensive Player of the Week. A little bit slow to get up, but he's going to stay in there.
Great job by the coverage that allowed Carson Wentz to kind of pump. You see that little extra pump that he had in there when he wanted to get the ball out, but the receiver was covered. So that coverage and the pressure combined puts Carson Wentz on the ground.
And now Allen will come out. He's a little slow to get up. And he'll watch from the sidelines for 3rd down and 5.
We're going. 20.
Wentz looking for Hines, makes the catch, and he's got the first down. Tyson Campbell was a little bit late coming over, a 7-yard pickup.
You watch Nyheim Hines play and you go, hey, what a great 3rd down back. And that's kind of an offhanded compliment because he can run in between the tackles. He's physical, he's fast. You saw that great passer out there, so you can split him out and use him as kind of an extra wide receiver. He is just a football player, and don't just shoebox him into being a 3rd down back.
Taylor returns at running back for 1st and 10.
Blade. 5-4. There you go. 20.
Taylor inside the 10, tripped up there. Another big run for Jonathan Taylor, 8 more yards. And now he's at 85 rushing in the 1st quarter.
You know, we always hear about the box being full. This time, guys are coming from this angle to kind of get after the run. Carson Wentz says, there's some guys we don't have to block. We'll just let Jonathan Taylor run away from those unblocked defenders, and we get such good push on the play side, we have an opening.
2nd and 2.
180.
Back to Taylor. Up the middle. Taylor inside the 5. It'll be 1st and goal for the Colts.
Frank Reich talked about the mission of a play. Remember that, Andrew? We're kind of all sitting on the edge of our seat. Where is he going with this? And the mission of that last play on 2nd and 2 is to pick up 2 yards. And the entire offense has to understand that Jonathan Taylor isn't looking, oh, I'm going to bounce this to the outside where I can get a big run. Just pick up the necessary yardage for the 1st down on those 2nd and short plays.
5-5.
And now a fresh set of downs, 1st and goal. Inside 3 minutes to go in the 1st. Taylor at the 2. Still going, moving those legs, reaching over. He's in! What an effort! A Taylor touchdown! And it's now a rushing touchdown in 7 consecutive games for Jonathan Taylor.
We talked to Jonathan Taylor about his ascension in the running back ranks of the NFL. And, you know, obviously Derrick Henry is the name that always comes up. And we asked Jonathan Taylor if he felt like he was a big running back, because at 226 pounds, he is big, but he said, no, just an average size running back.
Extra point is good. Jonathan Taylor from Wisconsin, jumping around early, 93 yards rushing and a touchdown.
With DirecTV Stream, I can get live TV.
New fully electric RS e-tron GT.
Our videographer, Jonathan Pope, spending some time at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway yesterday, largest sporting venue in the world. And it's 17-0 Colts as Agnew will return this one. And does not get to the 25. Jonathan Taylor already 93 yards rushing and a touchdown for the Colts.
You know, we gush about his size, his speed, and his strength, but I think it's his vision to be able to read the defense, to diagnose where that little sliver of a hole is going to be, and then obviously to be able to put the foot on the accelerator and get right through that opening. Jonathan Taylor, he's been doing that all year long. He did it a week ago when they played on Thursday, and he did it the first play of the game today. So maybe he wasn't warmed up enough to take it all the way down the straightaway.
Jaguars have run 6 plays for 8 yards. On 1st and 10, Lawrence throws on the run, looking deep, dangerous pass, and it's incomplete. Kenny Moore got his hands on it. Isaac Rochelle was bearing down on Lawrence on the release. Well, Jacksonville
you've got Trevor Lawrence outside the pocket, which is one of the things that you want to do when you're facing a fierce pass rush, but nobody's able to get open, because at this point of the game, when you're down 17-0 in the first quarter, the defense kind of knows that you might want to be trying to throw the football. 7
plays for Jacksonville, already 7 first downs for the Colts. 2nd and 10.
Go!
And the handoff, not much doing there. James Robinson gets a yard on the play. 3rd and long for the Jaguars. And James, we saw on 1st down, Jacksonville try to take a deep shot down the field. That is something that Urban Meyer has been very adamant about, that they don't have a lot of success with the deep ball, saying it's been non-existent. They tried something there on 1st down, but now looking at 3rd and long again.
And just a sample of the coverage with those safeties back, with that umbrella look over the offense.
Lawrence has time, fires, caught by Jones, right around the sticks, and with the spot, he'll get the 1st down. TJ Carey on the tackle after a gain of 12.
Yeah, nice job by Marvin Jones, looking at that coverage and knowing that it's a soft 2-deep coverage. Look at Carey on the outside. He kind of runs that corner stop at him, makes Carey stop his feet, and Trevor Lawrence, a nice job figuring out what they were doing, because you don't always see these coverages that he's seeing now at the pro level. He didn't see them at Clemson when they were beating people. They were ahead by 17-0 in the 4th quarter back in those days.
Agnew takes it, has some room to run. He's got great speed. Agnew down the sideline. Adios, Jamal Agnew. A 66-yard touchdown.
Boy, that lets the Jaguars exhale a little bit. And I talked to Jamal Agnew on the field before the game, because we had met with defensive back Rudy Ford, who claimed he was the fastest Jaguar. And I asked Jamal Agnew, I said, who's the fastest? He said, I am. I said, well, Rudy said he was. Jamal looked at me with a big grin. I think Rudy has something to look at right there. Jamal Agnew, nobody can catch him.
Agnew, as the extra point is no good. Matthew Wright, 2nd time this season he's missed an extra point. Agnew with his 1st career rushing touchdown. Jamal Agnew, big play for the Jaguars. They're on the board. So this year, Jamal Agnew has a receiving touchdown, a rushing touchdown, a kick return touchdown, and a missed field goal returned for a touchdown. What a year for Jamal Agnew in his first season in Jacksonville.
And he's out of breath.
He's earned that right. Matthew Wright was wrong on the extra point. His kickoff here to the 1. Rodgers. And he is cut down shy of the 20. Andre Sisco on the tackle for Jacksonville as we go back to the touchdown.
Oh, you remember that old Green Bay Packers sweep where you get a seal from the outside and a seal kick out from the inside? Laquan Treadwell, the wide receiver, Cam Robinson, the left tackle. They get the work done down the field, and then it's Jamal Agnew just turning the corner. And I guess Indianapolis brings out the speed in everybody because that's the speedway going straight ahead.
Longest Jacksonville touchdown run since week 5 of 2018 when Blake Bortles ran for a 21-yard touchdown. And movement up front and a false start against the Colts.
False start. Offense number 11. 5-yard penalty remains first down.
Goes against Michael Pittman.
When you have an abundance of scoring early, you've got to kind of just refocus, rein it back in. Had a big run by the Colts, a big run by the Jaguars, a block punt. A lot of things have happened, so you kind of have to get back to the basics of playing offense, playing defense. Don't look at the scoreboard anymore.
Play action. Wentz is taken down. A flag down as well. Devon Hamilton on the sack as we await the penalty call from Tony Correnti.
Well, the interesting thing will be, did they hold the running back who was trying to get out in the pass route?
Holding, offense number 56. This penalty is declined. The results of the play create second down.
First sack of the season for Devon Hamilton.
You know, it looked like a screen was trying to be set up, but that's just a miss by Quentin Nelson because he took one step, missed, and he missed early. You saw him trying to lunge and stop him. And then Taylor getting pushed back into the lap and everybody else just closing in. Now, looking at a game that looked like it was a laugher, now you've got some concerns if you're on the Colts sideline.
12-yard loss. Second down, Wentz over the middle to Jack Doyle, and he runs it up to the 15-yard line. Damian Wilson on the tackle after a gain of 12. And that could be the final play of the first quarter. With Wentz walking off the field, I think that's a good indication. So in that opening quarter, Jonathan Taylor rushes for 93 yards and a touchdown. But Jacksonville with a little spark thanks to Jamal Agnew. 17-6 after 1. Back in Indianapolis, start of quarter number 2, and look at what Jacksonville did defensively a week ago against the Bills compared to what it's been like at the start of this game. The Colts already with more rushing yards than Buffalo had all of last week. But Indianapolis opens up the second, looking at 3rd and 15.
And they've got their best pass rushers in up front.
Wentz throws, and Taylor with a low pass could not hold on. Pressure was coming on Carson Wentz. It was Josh Allen who was in the backfield again.
Josh Allen works through a double team Smoot on the quarterback's right-hand side. That push and the push from inside from Adam Gaddis, Taven Bryant, those 4 guys really got and rattled Carson Wentz, moved him off his spot.
The dangerous Agnew back deep to return the punt. First of the day from Rigoberto Sanchez. Agnew drifting to his left, calls for a fair catch at his own 38-yard line. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Progressive Insurance.
Progressive presents At Home with Baker Mayfield.
Baker reaching for that first cup of coffee. Let's see if this can get his feet moving. Oh, he's putting it back on a hot plate. Must mean a second cup is coming. And with a burst of speed, Baker heads up the stairs like a man on a mission.
Baker coming in hot, looking a little gassed from the stairs.
It's like 7 a.m. Maybe pump the brakes a little bit.
Baker stands in the doorway.
Seems a little annoyed.
I tried.
Uh-oh, leaving the seat up. Emily's not gonna like that.
Andrew Catalon, James Lofton, Sherry Burris, our entire crew. Producer Steve McKee, director Andy Goldberg. We thank you for joining us. Week 10 of the NFL on CBS. James Robinson at running back on 1st and 10. Lawrence looking for Chenault, and he was not looking for the pass. Kwity Paye again in the backfield to apply the pressure.
Well, Chenault had a step on the defensive back, and Trevor Lawrence threw a back shoulder fade, so you've got to be able to read what's going on there. And like you said, that's that part of that deep passing game that they're not really on the same page. You saw one ball that he threw to Agnew that was thrown kind of almost out of bounds, and that ball thrown 5 yards behind the wide receiver.
And Lawrence did tell us they worked extra reps on the deep passing game this week at practice. Have not been able to hit so far today. Robinson runs into his line, and then the second effort gives him 2 yards. Yassine on the tackle. 3rd and long. Matt Eberflus in his 4th year as defensive coordinator of the Colts.
And Matt has a nice defensive rotation because Antoine Woods, Rochelle, they kind of jogged off the field on that last play, and you've got guys who are filling a role and allowing Buckner and others to come in critical 3rd down situations.
Lawrence throws across his body, and it's incomplete. He took a shot as well. That was Taylor Stallworth and Al-Quadin Muhammad applying the pressure on Lawrence.
You know, having to hold the ball, waiting for a pass play to develop down the field. If you get little leaks in there, you're going to get some pressure on the quarterback, and those throws are not going to be on target.
Another 3rd down incompletion for Trevor Lawrence. You saw his completion percentage around 40% on 3rd down this year, worst in the NFL. Hines with a fair catch at his own 11. With 13:48 to go in the first half, 17-6 Colts on CBS. 17-6 Indianapolis in front. Tonight, you're invited to the concert of a lifetime with Adele, including an exclusive interview with Oprah Winfrey. Adele, one night only. Tonight on CBS. It's a pitch to Taylor on 1st down. There's a flag down. There he goes. Taylor! And he's shoved out of bounds. Let's see what the flag is. Rayshawn Jenkins finally caught up to him.
Holding. Offense. Number 62. Penalty assessed half distance to the goal. And repeat 1st down.
Wow, that's on Chris Reed, who did not start the game. We told you Mark Lewinsky started at right guard. Those two have been rotating.
And Chris Reed, all he did was hook his guy. He jumped out and hooked him. He didn't really turn him. Boy, I could see why Chris Reed did not look happy once that call and his name came up with the call. That looked like a legitimate block where you jump outside and you get your guy in position.
Jonathan Taylor knocked over a member of the officiating crew on that last play, but he's smiling. We like to see that.
That's one of the younger officials, so you know he's still yoked up and almost looks like he's padded up. But that holding call on Chris Reed, boy, that's a tough one to throw a yellow flag on.
That was the field judge Anthony Jeffries who took the charge. It was not a block charge basketball call there.
Are they going to check him for concussion now? Bounce off the ground like that?
He was up and smiling, and seemed to be in a good frame of mind.
See if he does land on his head, because the back of your head can hit that turf.
Ooh, yeah,
that's
yeah. And they are going to take a look at him, as they should. Make sure he's okay. So we have a field judge going into the blue medical tent. And the holding penalty negates a 32-yard run. First and 15. Hines, nice running. Naheem Hines brings it back out to the 15-yard line, a 9-yard run. Jenkins and Ford on the tackle.
That was almost the same play, but in the opposite direction. You're getting guys pulling, getting guys pinning. This offensive line, these are the guys, you add Chris Reed in there, and they have 6 starters, really. Mark Glowinski is the 6th starter. He started the ball game at right tackle. But they have 6 guys who, when training camp started, they said these are the guys that are the core of this offensive line. And they're all back, they're all playing. You can see the results.
5-4.
Kylan Granson goes in motion. 2nd and 6. Back to Hines. And it'll be 3rd and short. NFL Today update. Here's JB and Bill Cowher.
Patriots looking for a 4th straight.
I'll tell you, this rookie Mac Jones looks anything but a rookie here. You're going to find Kendrick Bourne from 23 yards out. Mac Jones 9 of 10, 2 touchdown passes. New England up 21-7.
Andrew, James, and Sherry.
Patriots are heating up, guys. Thank you for the update. 3rd down and 3 here as we approach 12 minutes to go in the opening half.
5-4.
Wentz in trouble, throws it with his left hand, and it's complete to Taylor, but he's a yard shy of a 1st down. Taven Bryan had the pressure on Wentz, who's made some bad decisions in those spots earlier this year. Got away with this one.
I don't know how much he practices having one guy hold his leg during practice and throwing it with his left hand, but you know, you think about it, he switches that ball at the last second, and everybody in the stands here, including me, held their breath. You know, what's going on? And that one didn't cost the Colts, but boy, certainly decision-making has to be questioned there.
Did not get away with one against Tennessee a couple of weeks ago on Halloween when he threw 2 interceptions against the Titans. As Agnew calls for a fair catch. Timeout on the field. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Some carriers will give you just...
Presented by Progressive Insurance. The block punt in the 1st quarter. Zaire Franklin blocking it. E.J. Speed returning it. Jonathan Taylor with a rushing touchdown that Jamal Agnew was able to answer on a 66-yard run.
You know, we highlighted the Colts when this game started that they had 20 turnovers so far. And that block punt doesn't go down as a turnover, but it's just as effective as a turnover for the Colts.
Anthony Jeffries, the field judge, is back out on the field. He ran out during that timeout, said hi to all of the fellow members of the crew. Lots of smiles, so very happy to see him back out there. Agnew again on the carry across the 40 and tripped up at the 42-yard line.
You know, you always hear coaches say, well, we're going to run it till they stop it. So they wanted to see if the Colts had come up with a solution for this kind of jet sweep that the Jacksonville Jaguars had unleashed on them with Agnew with the long 69-yard touchdown. Did I give him 2 extra yards?
66. It's all right.
Yeah, he ran 3 yards deep into the end zone.
No doubt. 2nd and 5. Robinson on the carry across the 45, and he picks up the 1st down, but there is a flag down at the 40-yard line.
Holding, offense number 84. 10-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
2nd penalty today on Chris Manhertz. We met with Jamal Agnew last week down in Jacksonville. We were talking about nicknames, and he said that back in high school, some of his friends started to call him Swagnew, which he thought was pretty cool. But his dad also thought it was cool and made it his vanity license plate. And Jamal said that after he saw his dad got it on his license plate, he couldn't go by that name anymore. It was done. It was over. So still no great nickname. It was going to be Swagnew, but Dad ruined that. 2nd and 15. Lawrence on the move. He's got a lot of room to run. Lawrence across the 40. He slides down at the 44-yard line. Good awareness there by Lawrence. A 13-yard run. That's the longest of his career so far.
And once Lawrence got near the boundary, he would have said, well, maybe I can run out of bounds. Well, there was a defender outside of him, so he had to cut it back inside and did a smart job sliding, getting down, avoiding contact.
So far today on 3rd down, Lawrence is just 1 of 4 for 12 yards. 3rd down and 3.
Got Dan Arnold right in there. Good matchup.
Lawrence throws, broken up. And that was Kenny Moore getting a hand on it.
You know, the common nickname for the position that Kenny Moore plays is nickel. Some people have dubbed it the star, but it really is a position that more and more people are looking at it. Even if you go 5 years ago, it wasn't on the all-pro list. It is now, and Kenny Moore is one of those guys who's vying to be an all-pro nickel player.
Already the 4th 3 and out today by Jacksonville. As Cook is punting to Hines. Bounces at the 16. Takes a Jacksonville roll out of bounds around the 10. A 46-yard punt. Carson Wentz coming back out when we come back.
So often.
Carson Wentz already this season with more victories and touchdown passes than he had all of last year with Philadelphia, and 12 fewer interceptions for Wentz so far, only 3 on the season. You should see the first 4 possessions for the Colts last week against the Jets. Their first 4 possessions all resulted in touchdowns. Hand off to Taylor. Taylor is tackled at the 11. Joe Cullen, the defensive coordinator, told us that they do have to gang tackle Taylor, and you saw that right on that 1st down play. Well, Josh Allen, the AFC Defensive Player of the Week, he was also named the Nickelodeon MVP of the week. The MVP and his teammates, Rayshon Jenkins, Jihad Wardle, they celebrated that honor in a big way, giving him some slime when he was told about winning the award. 2nd and 9. It's Taylor again. Caught from behind by Rudy Ford after a 4-yard run.
You know, we looked at the Jacksonville Jaguars and the great job that they did against the Buffalo Bills last week. Get a couple early hits to your defense, but in the last couple of drives, they have stepped it up. Now they're playing at that level where they're getting that confidence back, and now they have the Colts in a very favorable situation on 3rd down where they can get after Carson Wentz, play some man-to-man coverage behind him.
Glowinski back in at right guard for the Colts after the holding penalty against Chris Reed. 3rd and 5. Here comes the pressure. Wentz steps up, throws on the run, incomplete. Oh, he was feeling the heat. Rudy Ford, Taven Bryan. And now for Indianapolis, that is their 3rd consecutive 3 and out.
Joe Cullen, the defensive coordinator for the Jacksonville Jaguars, used to be a defensive line coach. So he is really focused in on the stunts and the games that they're doing. And that coverage in the back end is matching up really well, playing man-to-man. But up front, they're putting the heat on Carson Wentz.
Sanchez from his own end zone. Agnew, fair catch at his own 43. So Jacksonville will have good field position with 7.5 to go until halftime. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cower, All the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. We met with Trevor Lawrence last night and asked him, how'd you celebrate the win last week? He said, well, I went home, spent some time with my wife and her family, but then I went back out. I went out with my teammates to celebrate what was one of the biggest wins Jacksonville's had in quite some time, if you think about it. And they lost 21 of their last 23 games. Lawrence. He's going to run it. Running right, following the block of Treadwell, and is escorted out of bounds by Kenny Moore.
You know, you saw Chenault in the backfield, number 10, Robinson out wide. Chenault is going to run a route here, and he's going to be wide open, but the pressure in Trevor Lawrence's eyes were already looking left. He looks right. Well, there's Chenault down the field, and you know, a little frustration there. Coaches are kicking themselves on the sideline. We worked on that one all week long. I stayed up late. I could have gone home at 8 instead of 11:30.
Still only 2 completions for Jacksonville today. 1 to Jones, 1 to Robinson. And here is Chenault crossing midfield, and he's a yard shy of a first down. George Odom on the tackle. Now, James, it's 3rd and short. On the last drive, it was 3rd and 3. Jacksonville threw. It was incomplete. The Jaguars on 3rd and short throw the ball 75% of the time. That's the highest rate in the NFL, and they also are last in 3rd down conversions. To me, this has got to be a run right here. They've got to get something going on the ground.
Especially if you look at the field position. Run it, and you can even run it on 4th down if you want to be bold.
They do run it, and Hyde fighting for it, doesn't get it. Well, that shows you what I know.
Well, they tried to spread them out with the wide receivers outside, but what the Colts did is they brought guys off the edges and said, we're going to play man-to-man outside, and we're going to wreck it in the backfield.
Trevor Lawrence was just waving the punt team off the field on 4th and 2, but Urban Meyer won that battle and sends out the punter Logan Cook, but Lawrence wanted to go for that one.
Well, it's tough to lobby for a 4th down run when you barely get back to the line of scrimmage on the 3rd down run.
Cook, end over end kick. Hines will return it from his own 7. And chopped up short of the 20-yard line. 5:22 to go until halftime. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this.
I'm legendary quarterback Tony Romo, and with the help of Tostitos, I'm telling one lucky fan like Steve all the football-y stuff they need to impress their friends. With Romo in your ear. Nominate the football novice in your life today.
My retirement plan with Voya keeps me moving forward. They guide me with achievable steps that give me confidence. This is my granddaughter. She's cute like her grandpa. Voya doesn't just help me get to retirement, they're with me all the way through it.
Voya, be confident to and through retirement.
Trevor Lawrence is now 2 for 8 for 12 yards. He wanted to go for it on 4th down that last drive, but Urban Meyer decides to punt. Colts ball with 5:22 to go. Wentz has only thrown for 37 yards passing so far. Wentz fires over the middle, caught by Pittman for a first down. Jenkins on the tackle, but Pittman moving the chains, an 18-yard pickup.
All those successful runs and then a bunch look, which is always hard to cover. But those linebackers step up to stop the run. Carson Wentz, easy throw to Pittman, who's a big target at 6'4", 223 pounds.
His father, Michael, played 11 seasons in the NFL, but you talked to him before the game.
And I just knew that Michael Pittman was wearing number 11 because his dad played those 11 seasons. He looked at me and goes, no, but that would have been a good idea, though.
You're always thinking, Lofton. Wentz splits the D, throws on the run. It's broken up. Miles Jack may have gotten a hand on that one.
I know that today's players are into yoga, are into Pilates, because of all the awkward angles that they can fall in. And I'm looking at Carson Wentz. And he must be one of those guys because he gets in some awkward angles where you're looking at him going, oh, he's not going to be able to get up from this, but he just bounces back up like Gumby. Like it didn't bother him at all.
Quarterback coach Scott Milanovic saying that the reason Wentz is so successful on a lot of RPOs is that he throws from different arm angles, and he's capable of having success with that, but not that time. 2nd and 10. A give to Taylor. Taylor able to sneak through up to the 42-yard line, and that 6-yard run puts Jonathan Taylor over 100 yards rushing in the first half. And that's good news for Indianapolis because he now has 8 100-yard rushing games, and the Colts have never lost when Taylor goes for over 100 yards.
We talked about Michael Pittman the previous play, but now on 3rd down, we talked about his effectiveness on 3rd down. If I am Jacksonville, I find some way to double team Michael Pittman. Right there, you've got Shaquille Griffin on him, but where's the extra help coming from to slow him down?
And Frank Reich calls timeout. First timeout by either team in this first half.
I mean, such a critical drive for Indianapolis to kind of gain that momentum back that they had early on in the first quarter, and then it kind of went, the caution flag came out, and everybody had to slow down going around the speedway. If they can step on the accelerator here, pick up this first down, and somehow get in the end zone, they can really feel good about the entire first half, not just the early part of the first quarter.
Love what Frank Reich told us on Friday, that during the offseason he was reading some newspaper clippings, and he read one about the Jaguars, and he told his assistant, hey, hold on to this and give it back to me the week we play Jacksonville. So this week his assistant came in and said, hey, you wanted me to give this to you. And it was an article where Jacksonville was talking about how they wanted to out-hustle everyone and be more physical than the opponent. And Frank used that as motivation to his team this week, saying, hey, this is who they want to be. We have to match that on Sunday. 3rd down and 4. Wentz throws, it's caught by Granson. First down into Jacksonville territory. Shoved out by Jenkins, but the rookie Kylan Granson picks up the first down, a gain of 15.
When you're a rookie tight end and you're trying to establish your role on the team, and you've come out of SMU where all the wide receivers are getting a bunch of passes, you're getting kind of the leftovers, you've got to be really efficient when your number's called. That time he ran a combination route with Michael Pittman. They doubled Pittman a little bit off the line of scrimmage, and Granson was one-on-one, won his matchup.
Play action. Here comes Josh Allen. Wentz gets rid of it, completes it to Doyle, and a flag comes out behind the play, and Josh Allen may have gotten Wentz late.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 41. This 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play and an automatic first down.
It is on Josh Allen.
The great Bruce Smith that I played with the Buffalo Bills said it's become a half a step league. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, you get about a half a step where you can hit the quarterback. And that time, Josh Allen had about a step and a half. He put his hands on the quarterback, knocked him down, and out came the yellow flags.
That was a tough one, I think.
Well, because he didn't really shoulder him up, but when you still knock him to the ground and you can see that that ball is already out of his hands, I think the officials expect you to pull up and not hit him at all.
So the penalty moves the ball all the way down to the 20-yard line. Colts are in the red zone. Jonathan Taylor lined up at the bottom and now motions back next to Wentz.
Hey, more pressure over there, Brady.
It is a handoff to Taylor. And Taylor picks up 4 yards on the play with 2.5 to go. And now an injured Colt is down, and that's Quentin Nelson. Injured his ankle back in week 3 in Tennessee, went on IR and missed 3 games, but Quentin Nelson's in some pain on the ground. Three-time first-team All-Pro only the 5th player to do that in each of his first 3 seasons.
He's right in the middle. You don't know which leg gets jumbled up. There's a huge pile of mass humanity. And when he gets up, he has his hand on that right ankle.
We'll step aside, come back in a moment.
All you can do is tell the truth and hope.
Quentin Nelson able to walk off under his own power, a good sign, and trying to work through that injury as Chris Reed comes out to play left guard for Nelson, and Glowinski is in at right guard. 2nd down and 6, clock is running. And now a flag comes out.
False start, offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty, and remains 2nd down.
On the right tackle, Braden Smith. Indianapolis does a good job in the penalty department, 3rd fewest in the NFL.
You know, had movement, but it was more lateral movement, and then once the guys kind of stood up, Braden Smith stepped across.
2-minute warning in Indianapolis, 17-6 Colts. Two-minute warning at Lucas Oil Stadium, and good news for Indianapolis as Quentin Nelson is already back out there in his left guard spot. Colts have 2 timeouts remaining. Jacksonville with all 3. 2nd down and 11. They swing it to Taylor. Taylor eluding defenders and brought down at the 17-yard line. And a timeout is called. It's called by the Jaguars before this 3rd down play. Coming up, Verizon halftime. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cower have all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Verizon halftime report.
You know, Andrew, there are situations where you're supposed to call a timeout, and I almost think that Urban Meyer did that reluctantly because he's thinking, well, man, if we get the ball back from our offense, and he goes, well, we've only had one good offensive play so far, so, but you are obligated to almost call that timeout in that situation.
A chance to double up. Jacksonville will get the football to start the 2nd half. 3rd down and 8.
Pittman on the single receiver side with that safety moving back into center field.
Wentz locates Taylor. Taylor shoved out by Rudy Ford, and he's going to be short of a 1st down. Frank Reich does not have a lot of fear when it comes to going for it on 4th down. He's gone for it 15 times this year, and he's keeping the offense out there on 4th and 2.
I think what you have to do now, if you're Frank Reich, is you look at that play sheet, maybe let this play clock go all the way down before you decide what you're going to do, because you could use a timeout here and really kind of ice your own team, but you would also go in with the best play possible. You got the backup quarterback in there, Ellinger.
Sam Ellinger is out. Bottom of your screen. He goes in motion. Play clock at 2. He gets under center. And the play clock expires. So it appears Indianapolis was just trying to confuse.
There's no foul to delay a game. Offense called timeout. Timeout, Indianapolis. They're 2nd.
Frank Reich wanted to see if he could maybe get Urban Meyer to burn another timeout before that play. Meyer held tight, and Jacksonville will keep the defense out there because Frank Reich, even with that timeout, he's keeping the offense on the field.
Well, the great thing about that play is it kind of got us up here because we're looking down at the huddle, we're looking at guy, and we go, number 4, who's number 4? And you go, oh, that's the backup quarterback. Well, normally they don't go in, but
and now he runs out his field goal unit. Gamesmanship there by Frank Reich. your former teammate in Buffalo. So Badgley comes out to attempt a 29-yard field goal. One for one on the day, and Badgley is good. With 1:43 to go, the Colts go up 20-6. Carson Wentz in the first half, 11 out of 17 for 88 yards. Jonathan Taylor rushing for 107 yards in the first half. All right, James, you got a rookie quarterback who has struggled today, just 2 for 8. You do have 2 timeouts to work with. How do you play this if you're Jacksonville?
Well, what you're trying to do is to give him those easy throws where perhaps the guys can catch it and get a little run after the catch, because we haven't seen Jacksonville successfully stretch the ball down the field in their throwing game. And with that being said, the Colts can really get after the passer. They have some extra pass rushers that they love to unleash on this young quarterback.
Keep in mind, Indianapolis leads the NFL with 20 takeaways on defense. Agnew back deep. And Agnew will let this one go. Jaguars have gone 17 consecutive games where they've failed to score 25 points. That's the second longest streak in franchise history. Averaging just 16 points per game this year. Only Houston has a lower total. From the 25. Pump fakes. Now he's going to run it again. He slides at the 35. They'll mark him at the 33. So he's 2 yards shy of a first down, and the Jaguars go no huddle.
The safeties did a good job kind of not giving Trevor a look, whether it's single high or too deep.
Lawrence, quick pass, incomplete. Looking for Dan Arnold, who is still without a catch today. And it's 3rd down and 2.
Andrew, those are the throws that you just cannot miss. They're easy throws that you make in warm-ups all the time. Protection was there, the receiver was open, and then you miss him by a couple of yards. That's not good.
The 3rd down numbers for Lawrence so far, 1 for 5. Taking a deep shot for Agnew, incomplete. Kenny Moore was stride for stride with Agnew. And that drive does not accomplish a whole lot for the Jaguars. Only about 30 seconds comes off the clock. And the Colts are going to get the football back with 1 timeout remaining.
You know the old phrase, why don't you pick on somebody your own size? Well, Kenny Moore at 5'9", 195 pounds, they ought to pick on somebody bigger than him because they can't get the ball thrown against him.
Jacksonville has had 7 possessions, and 6 of the 7 have been 3 and out. Hines with a fair catch at the 27 with 1:05 to go. And let's check in with Sherry Burris.
Well, yeah, Andrew, Trevor was talking with some of his guys, Jamal Agnew and Marvin Jones Jr. on the sideline. It was yesterday. Urban Meyer told us something he wants Trevor to work on is his accuracy, and we're seeing that out here today, too.
Yeah, the completion percentage on the season, Sherry, 59%. That's 30th in the NFL. And today, just 2 for 10 for Trevor Lawrence.
Last week against the Buffalo Bills, the Jacksonville Jaguars did a great job of keeping things underneath in the coverage.
Wentz to Hines. Hines down the sideline, out of bounds. pushed out at the 36. And with that spot, they are going to give Indianapolis a first down. 1 minute on the clock. If the Jaguars don't get the ball back, they'll finish the half with just 2 completions, which is tied for a franchise low in the first half of a game. Wentz, pressure coming, ball is batted down, incomplete. Roy Robertson Harris got a hand on that. In his first year with Jacksonville, spent the last 4 seasons with the Bears.
See Carson kind of looking down the middle. Miles Jack, who's the middle linebacker, who's getting in that deep third middle, went away from him, so he had a chance to hit Mo Alley Cox down the middle. Came off that, tried to throw it to Pittman, then got the ball knocked down. So it's that progression that quarterback is rapidly trying to go through.
20,
2nd and 10. Wentz incomplete, looking for T.Y. Hilton, and Tyson Campbell, the rookie out of Georgia, had the coverage.
Still got that middle of the field that you can work with, but like I said, Miles Jack, number 44, when they line up in a 2 deep safety look, and you talk about that Tampa 2 look, Miles Jack is going to be the middle safety who's going to run down that middle hole looking to see where that receiver's coming from, and normally he'll run toward the wide side of the field. There's Miles Jack right there, so he's going to run down that middle, trying to prevent you from throwing the ball there.
On 3rd and 10, he's blitzing. So is Nevin Lawson. Wentz again with a dangerous pass. Incomplete. Just a flick of the wrist from Carson Wentz, and it's 4th down.
So nice change up to bring pressure, get Carson Wentz off his spot, and then you get him to make a interesting decision.
Well, let's talk about the decision, because we saw him throw with his left hand earlier in the game. We've seen him make mistakes earlier in the season when he tries to get a little too improvisational towards the end of plays. He's got to be very careful. Gets away with it there. Agnew, returnable from his own 21. And Agnew lunges up ahead to the 30, tackled by Luke Rhodes, the long snapper. Some of the decisions that Wentz has paid for earlier this year, James.
Yeah, he can come at you from different angles trying to get that ball out. And here he goes to his left hand when he's in the end zone. He knows right here I could give up a safety if I get tackled. Well, he gives up an interception return for a touchdown.
Completed one with his left hand earlier. This one, dangerous. And now the Jaguars get the ball back with 36 seconds on the clock, looking to throw. Lawrence gets away, throws on the run too high in the vicinity of Carlos Hyde.
When Trevor Lawrence comes to the sideline and they're looking at those tablets, the first question that Brian Schottenheimer has for him is what did you see? Because you're trying to decipher what he's seeing as he's in the pocket. And right now, Trevor Lawrence is not seeing the field clearly because of the pass rush and the pressure that's being applied by the front 4 of the Indianapolis Colts.
6 straight incompletions for Lawrence. Moving right, throws across his body, completes it to Dan Arnold. First catch today for the Jacksonville tight end into Indianapolis territory, and the Jaguars call a timeout with 20 seconds remaining.
Outside the pocket, away from the pressure. You can see Trevor Lawrence is athletic enough to get away from it, and then has the arm talent to get that ball to Dan Arnold, and Dan Arnold covered up, made sure he made the catch. So it's a big play for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Just the 3rd completion today for Trevor Lawrence. Arnold has done a real nice job since being acquired in a trade with Carolina in late September, averaging 50 yards per game for the Jaguars. Prior to this season, he averaged 24 yards per game. 1st and 10. Lawrence standing back there. Now he's going to run. Stays on his feet, angling for the sideline, and shoved out by T.J. Carey.
And you see T.J. Carey winding his arm because what he felt like is that he made Trevor Lawrence go out of bounds going backwards, not forwards, but it was really on a slight line because if he's going backwards out of bounds, they're going to run that clock. They're just going laterally, just ever so slightly. Trevor Lawrence is trying to lean forward to go out of bounds.
James, got to give him credit too. He doesn't get happy feet back there when the pocket's collapsing. He stands in there and in this case steps up and makes a play as they try to get some extra yards for kicker Matthew Wright, who hit from 55 a week ago. This would be from 56 right here. Lawrence on a slant, incomplete. That's one that Jamal Agnew should have had.
And that little slant pattern was very similar to how they beat the Miami Dolphins in London. So, and we talked to Urban Meyer about using the clock and using it successfully, and they kind of have everything broken down as to what routes take 7 seconds or less, because they need a second on the clock to try and line up in field goal range, but they must get a first down here.
They do have the one timeout to play with, 7 seconds on the clock.
No arm coverage, so tight man-to-man.
Lawrence too high for Chenault. All they needed was a couple of extra yards. And now it'll be Matthew Wright coming out to attempt a 56-yard field goal. Now, in pregame warmups, Wright hit the crossbar from 55 and it went in, as you see the incompletion on 3rd down. So he barely got it there from 55 in warmups. He tried from 56 and it was no good. So this is from 56 yards. It would be a career long. It's on target. Does it have the distance? It does. Matthew Wright has now kicked 4 field goals this season from beyond 50 yards.
Couple of great runs by Trevor Lawrence outside the pocket, kind of set this up. Matthew Wright was getting that leg warmed up on the sideline and did better than he did in warm-ups.
He's now 4 for 5 from beyond 50 yards on the year. In his 6th game with Jacksonville, so it's 20-9 at the half. Halftime is next after these first half highlights from Verizon and a word from your local station.
You know how some carriers give you so little for your...
We are back in Indianapolis. Let's take a look at our first half highlight presented by State Farm. The block punt. Zaire Franklin blocking it. E.J. Speed scooping it up and scoring. That made it 10-0 Colts. But Jacksonville with a late field goal down 20-9 at the half as we take a look at the first half numbers. And not much offensively for Jacksonville. Only 36 yards passing by Trevor Lawrence. 3rd downs continue to be a problem for the Jaguars. Just 1 out of 8, but they do get the football to start the second half.
When we woke up this morning and it was snowing, I thought, well, it'd be tough to throw the ball. And I said, well, we're playing indoors. Maybe the quarterbacks haven't realized that yet.
Lawrence is just 3 out of 14. Agnew, who scored the only Jacksonville touchdown, is back deep to return the kick. And Agnew from his goal line. Hit hard at the 20. And taken down there. And back in the broadcast booth with the Hall of Famer James Lofton, I'm Andrew Catalon. this Jacksonville offense struggled last week, but it came in a win. Now they really need to pick it up in the second half. How do they get that done?
Well, I think that they need to get their running game going. James Robinson probably isn't completely 100% because we've seen Agnew running the football. We've seen Chenault trying to run the football. So they need to run it before they can successfully throw the football.
Robinson starts the second half at running back. And a handoff to Robinson. Trying to get him going to start this second half, and they do. A nice run by James Robinson for 10 yards as we check in with Sherry Burris.
Andrew, Coach Myers said his offense doesn't have to make it any harder on themselves. They need to execute when it comes to throwing and catching the ball. And he said he loved the way his defense is playing. They are playing their hearts out. Now, Coach Frank Reich, he likes what his defense is doing. But when it comes to offense, he wants them to come out with the same momentum, pointing out they want to get the run game going again.
All right, Sherry, thank you. And Frank Reich is walking out onto the field because there is an injured Colt who is down and being attended to. And we're going to step aside, come back in a moment. The injured Colt was Kwity Paye. He slowly walked off the field. He did miss 2 games because of a hamstring injury, and he's still limited by it. But as he said, he was tired of sitting out, so he wanted to be out there. He's not out there right now. First down and 10. After the run by Robinson, they go right back to him, and we go down to Sherry Burris.
Andrew, I'm down here on the bench watching Kwity Paye. He is now standing up, but it looks like he's testing that right ankle. He's standing up on his tiptoes, trying to get a feel for that right ankle. He's still surrounded by trainers. I'm going to keep an eye on him and let you know what we find out.
Sherry, thank you. Still no sacks for Kwity Paye, but he's been getting closer and closer, and his pressure in the first half certainly affected a couple of Trevor Lawrence throws.
AR 42.
Second down and 7.
Go.
Play action. Lawrence stands in there, fires down the field, incomplete, but a late flag comes out. That flag was thrown from deep in the secondary, and it's going to be against the Colts.
Holding of an offensive receiver, number 23, that elevates to pass interference. Defense, number 23. Ball is placed at the spot of the foul and an automatic first down.
So obviously what he's talking about is he's holding him, but the ball is also in the air. So once that happens, it becomes pass interference and not just holding. So it becomes a spot foul.
Yeah, they spot the ball at the 45-yard line.
And sometimes they allow you to hold a little bit, but that little turning of them when you turn that shoulder, can't get away with that.
Agnew in motion. They give it to Agnew. And he crosses midfield. Another nice job by Jamal Agnew. Isaiah Rodgers on the tackle, and now Agnew a little slow to get up after a run of 8 yards. And he's going to hobble back to the Jacksonville sideline.
Pick up 8 on first down. It makes the play calling simple. If you are Jacksonville here, you run to get the first down because you don't want to go back to the first half where you had to run for it on third down and couldn't pick it up. So it's a run formation with extra tight ends in the block.
Robinson up the middle. He's got the first down and more. Tripped up by Sendejo after James Robinson moves the sticks. A gain of 14.
Well, nice job. You bring Laquan Treadwell, number 18, in, and he seals it. Gets that kick out block to the outside, and James Robinson straight downhill, shoulder square, no messing around trying to pick up those 2 yards, and that hole opened up, and he got a lot more than the 2 he was looking for.
Trevor Lawrence told us that Robinson can create something when there's nothing there. There was a little something there, but Robinson turned it into a big gain. Lawrence rolling right, finds Arnold. Dan Arnold with a first down, lowers his shoulder, hit hard at the 20, and a flag comes out. 2 flags now down after the tackle by Sendejo.
I think we're going to get Chris Manhertz on a crackback block because he's blocking back toward his goal line. You've got to be really smart when you get out in the open field as to which direction you're blocking in. He's trying to help out the runner, but he's blocking back toward his own goal line.
Personal foul, blindside block, offense number 84. 15-yard penalty, remains a first down.
Well, you called it, James, and that is the 3rd penalty today on Chris Manhertz.
And it is an energy penalty, and by that I mean he's trying to make the effort. What he needed to do right there is kind of just turn his back and shield Darius Leonard away from the receiver.
So Manhertz on the sideline now. First down and 18. Lawrence screen, Robinson, blockers ahead. Robinson around his center, Tyler Shatley, and he takes it to the 32-yard line. DeForest Buckner on the tackle.
You had pressure coming from the screen side, and pretty nice job down the field. Everybody running, staying up. But the hustle by DeForest Buckner, you know, you talk about the elite defensive tackles around the league, and he's right at the top of that list. He is the best run stopper for the Colts and also their best pass rusher. So that's a rare combination at defensive tackle.
7th play of the drive for the Jaguars. Lawrence doesn't handle the snap, picks it up, stands in there, fires down the field, incomplete. Looking for Marvin Jones.
Maybe the ball's a little off target, but you've got to make these plays to pick up your quarterback. And Marvin Jones, tremendous receiver, great career, fighting through it at the top. And that ball's low. He just can't get his hands together. It's almost like he has a basket, just goes right off the top of those fingertips.
And the player applying pressure on that last defensive play for the Colts was Kwity Paye. Good to have him back out there. 3rd and 10. Lawrence throws right, and it's nearly intercepted. Rodgers makes a great break on that ball.
Just the timing is a little bit off because that ball wasn't thrown until the receiver came out of his break, and the receiver's already a yard short. He's trying to stretch this route up as much as he can, but just that little slippage and then that ball being thrown to the outside as opposed to possibly to the inside. But it's got to be thrown early, and the receiver and the quarterback have to be on the same page.
Did not even throw it to the sticks either. He would have been short even if he made that catch. So out comes Matthew Wright again, who made from 56 to close out the first half. This is from 51 yards. And this one's leaking right, and it's no good. He had the distance, but it's wide right. And a good Jacksonville drive comes up empty for the Jaguars. Resource and Reintegration Center community grants. The Jaguars Foundation awarded more than $67,000 to 11 military and veteran-serving organizations throughout Northeast Florida. Great job by the Jaguars in the community as Darius Leonard is getting some attention on the Indianapolis sideline. He continues to nurse an injured ankle, something that he said will be with him throughout the year. Wentz over the middle. Mo Alley Cox is able to hold on. That's his first catch today. Chason on the tackle after a pickup of 6. That pass puts Carson Wentz over 100 yards passing. You can see not much going right for that offense in the first half, including 3 consecutive 3-and-outs at one point.
Green 80, green 80. Hey, kill. Hey, you're going 5-4. Diamond 44. Good. Hey, we gotta go to 44. Y'all go to 2.
Second and 4. Handoff Taylor. Taylor met at the line and spun down. Miles Jack was crashing across the line of scrimmage.
You know, we got to listen in on Ryan Kelly making the calls. He said, you guys go to 44, we'll go to 2. Well, nobody listened to him about going to 44 because Miles Jack was standing right there in the hole.
Jack second on the team in tackles. He's dealing with a minor knee injury this week. Did not practice on Wednesday or Thursday.
You say minor because it's not your knee.
Minor because he's out there. Third and 4. Here comes the blitz. Wentz throws off his back foot and it's broken up. That was the rookie Tyson Campbell who was able to get that one out of the hands of T.Y. Hilton, and it's 4th down.
Boy, Joe Cullen, the defensive coordinator for the Jacksonville Jaguars, is bringing one more than Indianapolis can handle, and a nice job by his rookie Tyson Campbell. Look, there's Miles Jack coming. He's freed up, and he does a nice job in kind of hitting but laying off Carson Wentz. So you apply the pressure, but make sure you don't rough it.
That is the 4th 3-and-out today by the Colts offense. Sanchez just gets it off. Lorente McCray was coming. Agnew on the return, slips and tackled at the 16. 9:14 to go in the 3rd quarter. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
As someone who resembles someone else, I appreciate that.
Visit 2nd-ranked Alabama. We'll get you set for kickoff beginning at 2:30 Eastern with the drive to Atlanta, followed at 3 Eastern by college football today. Saturday, the SEC is on CBS. Jaguars will begin this drive at their own 16-yard line, looking for some offense. Lawrence over the middle, caught by Chenault. And a tackle immediately made by Bobby Okereke. I know you enjoyed talking to him, especially on Friday. I did too, but you have the Stanford connection with Bobby.
And it's always fun to find out why these young kids chose Stanford. Growing up in a Nigerian household where it's about accomplishments, he had a sister who was already at the University of Southern California, so he decided to go a little further north in California to Stanford.
2nd and 5, and that pass hauled in by Chenault, and that extra effort gives him a 1st down. Kenny Moore on the stop. You know, Okereke was telling us that his parents were not big fans of sports and him playing them. They were all about academics, and they reluctantly let him play football, but he said he got a C on a math test in high school, and his mom said, guess what, you're not going to practice today.
But a little while later, he got an offer from the University of Washington. They said, well, what is that? They said, a full scholarship? Oh, get out there and practice.
That changed the dynamics a little bit.
Hey, don't.
And a whistle and a penalty marker comes out, and a false start against Jacksonville.
False start. Offense number 85. 5-yard penalty. Remain 1st down.
That goes against Dan Arnold. Six penalties against Urban Meyer's team today. Meyer back in Indiana, where he was an assistant coach at Notre Dame from 1996 to 2000. We asked him last night what was the best part about being at Notre Dame, and he went speechless. He said, everything, just a magical place. Everything, just a magical place. Lawrence, quick pass. Arnold does not hold on. Muhammad was bringing the pressure on Trevor Lawrence.
You know, in the last couple of years, the quarterback position just seems like it's been elevated in importance, and what's really been elevated are completion percentages. Think about, you know, you go back 20 or 30 years, and if you could complete 55% of your passes, you'd be pretty good. Guys who are at top of their game, it's 68 to 75% of those passes are being completed. And Trevor Lawrence hovering below that 60% mark, just missing here and there at times when he has somebody open to throw to.
2nd down and 15. Lawrence Eludes the rush. There's a flag down. Lawrence throws, completes it along the sideline to Dan Arnold. But is this one coming back?
Holding. Offense number 75. 10-yard penalty. Remains second down.
That's on the right tackle, Jawan Taylor. The 5th time this year he's been called for a holding penalty.
When Jacksonville started this drive, they started with back-to-back completions. They had picked up a first down. Now they've kind of dug themselves in a hole, and on second down, you're looking at either a quick screen or draw action, just trying to dig yourself semi out of this hole, because almost the thought of getting a first down for Darrell Bevell and this staff on 2nd and 25 is almost inconceivable.
Lawrence with time, fires right for Arnold. Arnold gets past T.J. Carey for a couple extra yards before running into Kenny Moore, a gain of 13.
Well, they just bit off half that apple, because I had them at not having any chance, but you pick up a nice chunk there. Arnold making a move to pick up additional yardage right there before he went down. So that now gives them a chance. But that last play, the Colts only rushed 4, got nowhere near Trevor Lawrence, and gave him time to scan the field. This time, 4 guys are down there, but they're going to heat up their pass rush attempts.
Lawrence fires over the middle, caught by Treadwell. Great catch by Laquan Treadwell. His first catch as a member of the Jaguars. It goes for 18.
I don't know which I'm more impressed with, the strong arm of Trevor Lawrence or the strong hands to catch this ball that's a little bit behind him, a little bit off target by Laquan Treadwell, who came into the league as a first-round pick with the Minnesota Vikings. And there's a battle with Buckner trying to get to the quarterback.
And you said they had no chance at second and long.
You understand what a prophetic guy I am.
It is just the 2nd time today they've converted on 3rd down. Lawrence in trouble, and down he goes. And one of the guys in there was Kwity Paye. We'll see how they split this up. DeForest Buckner also in on the sack. Colts fans have been waiting for Kwity Paye to get that first sack, and I think he gets at least half of one here.
Well, he got half of one, but they could have broken that one up into thirds.
Yeah, Teray jumped on late. And they're going to split it between Paye and Buckner. So the first half a sack of Kwity Paye's career. Lawrence looking deep for Chenault, incompletes. Coverage by Rock Yassin. And right back into 3rd and long for Jacksonville.
Throwing deep is an art. You can throw deep and have your receivers go up and make a play on the ball, or you can hit them right in stride. We've seen it a couple of times where it's just been a hair off. And those balls that are going out of bounds, you've got to keep those balls in bounds to allow your receivers to make a play on the ball. But if you're a right-handed quarterback and you're throwing to your left, that ball's going to sail in that direction because of the spin on it a little bit more.
3rd and 16. It's a screen to Carlos Hyde. Running away from DeForest. Buckner takes a big hit by Sendejo. Wow. Could hear that one up here.
You know, you have people out in the workforce and you call them a lifer. Well, Andrew Sendejo in his 12th season is kind of like a little bit of a lifer, because when he came out of Rice, he played for the Sacramento Mountain Lions. Mountain lion like that would scare me.
Flag is down on the punt. With 4:20 to go in the 3rd quarter. Seven penalties against Jacksonville today, 4 against the Colts.
And dropped right at the line of scrimmage. So the line judge is discussing what he saw, what happened. They're talking to Urban Meyer first to see where he wants this. Does he want to repunt it, or does he want it at the tail end of the punt?
Tony Corrente, who turned 70 this past Friday.
Spring chicken.
Offside defense. This penalty has been declined. The results of the play, first down for Indianapolis, timeout.
Urban Meyer declines the penalty. It was a good boot by Logan Cook.
Cough, cough, sneeze, sneeze.
Indianapolis has a 20-9 lead on Jacksonville as the Colts have the chance to get back to 500 on the season. 54-yard punt by Logan Cook, so the Colts are backed up to start this drive at their own 9-yard line. We're starting field position today for Indianapolis. They hand it off to Taylor, trying to give him some room. Taylor tackled at the 14. Taylor had 93 yards rushing in the first quarter, but just 20 yards since. Last week against the Jets, the Colts had 532 yards of offense. Been a different day today.
You try to spread the box out a little bit. Looks like if you're going to run, you'd run in this direction.
2nd and 4. Wentz, and he's got Pittman wide open. First down for Pittman, who's upended by Wingard. But Pittman all the way up to the 31-yard line, a gain of 15. Michael Pittman with his 4th catch today.
And what Pittman gives for Carson Wentz is just a sure set of hands and a big target to throw to, because you can throw him the ball in traffic, you can throw him the ball up the sidelines, and his catch-to-run transition for a big guy is really, really smooth and quick.
The other thing that you don't see in a lot of highlight packages either is his run blocking. Jonathan Taylor credits the Colts wide receivers for the job they do blocking for him, including the big Michael Pittman. Taylor here, and he is stuffed by Josh Allen. Josh Allen is on an absolute tear for the Jaguars over the last month.
Now Josh Allen makes that tackle, but the guys on the right side made the play, because Josh Allen is the unblocked defender that if you're going to cut back, you're going to end up running into that unblocked defender. And this time Josh Allen made him pay.
See, Jonathan Taylor, 10 carries in the first quarter, just 7 for 20 yards since then. As we approach 2 minutes to go in the third. Screen to Taylor, trying to get him involved that way, going nowhere. Malcolm Brown on the tackle. Dewan Smoot coming in to help finish him off. A loss of 5 on the play.
You got outside the tackle box there, and you're away from your blockers, and once you did that, Rudy Ford comes up from the secondary and makes that play. You're not going to get past him in the open field.
Makes it 3rd down and 15, and the Colts just 3 for 10 on 3rd down today.
How long can you feel comfortable holding the ball with that pass rush coming after you if you're Carson Wentz?
And somebody jumped on the offensive line.
False start. Offense, number 64. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
It's on Mark Lewinsky.
So if you're Frank Reich and you've got that huge play call sheet, Andrew, are you conservative here, or do you try and stretch the field and pick up this 1st down?
Well, the Jacksonville offense has not been able to do too much today, so I think you got to be careful to get too cute on 3rd and long. Wentz fires, dangerous pass, and it should have been picked by Shaquille Griffin. Incomplete, but Shaquille Griffin had a great look at that one. Still looking for his first interception as a member of the Jaguars.
You know, you talked about not trying to get too cute, and this throw down the field, when that cornerback is looking back at the quarterback the entire time and realizing that you got to push it up the field 20 yards to get to the 1st down marker, just drive on the ball and almost an interception.
Jaguars defense, since that opening drive, really has played a lot better. Good punt by Sanchez, driving Agnew back to his own 25. Agnew up the middle and spun down at the 35-yard line after a 55-yard punt by Rigoberto Sanchez. Trevor Lawrence, tough day at the office, 10 of 25 for 94 yards.
But you know, this game is similar to last week's game when he had the injury. Now he's had a slow start. Can he come back and make something happen for his team?
Along with James Lofton, Sherry Burris on the sidelines, our rules analyst Gene Steratore, our entire crew. I'm Andrew Catalan. Week 10 in the NFL. Lawrence to the air on first down, throws it back to Robinson, who juggles it, and then he lost the football. The Colts fall on it. It looked like an incompletion to me, but on the field they're saying it's a fumble.
Well, you let the play go, and you let the eye in the sky kind of figure this thing out. And you're right, Andrew. It looked like a fumble. It felt like a fumble. Probably smelled like a fumble down there, too.
No, I'm saying
that ball was never caught.
No, I said it was an incompletion.
Yeah.
He never had control.
No, he never had it.
The ruling on the field is completed pass, fumble, recovery by the Colts. First down.
Now, because they ruled that, Urban Meyer does not have to throw a challenge flag because all turnovers subject to review. How do you see this, Gene Steratore?
We've already got.
To me, guys, it doesn't appear that he has possession 2 steps and then a football move. That ball's juggling an awful lot. In my opinion, I think that's an incomplete pass.
Yeah, we see it that way as well. But Gene, to James's point, it was a good job by the crew not to blow it dead. Do you agree with that?
Incomplete. It will be Jacksonville ball, second down.
Yep.
I totally agree with that. And there's an instance where you may have had an assist from New York where they're looking at something that's clear and obvious. They didn't take the time to go through formal review. Once they knew it was ruled turnover, they interjected themselves from New York, made a quick decision on an obvious play, and we're back to playing football, and that's a great job by replay.
And Gene, let the record show that me, you, and James all agreed that that was an incompletion. That's very rare for all three of us to be in agreement.
Anytime we're unanimous, I think we move on and make it official, guys.
All right, Gene, thank you very much. Second down and 10. And on the ground, not much doing. Taylor Stallworth with the play for the Colts defense. And we have an injury update. Let's check in with Sherry.
Andrew, number 34 for the Colts, Isaiah Rodgers. He is dealing with cramps, and he is questionable. I've been watching him down here. He's with the trainer running up and down the sideline. We're going to keep an eye on him.
All right, thank you, Sherry. That means TJ Carey will go in at corner. Meanwhile, there's another Colt who's down on the field right now.
I think that might be Kenny Moore.
It is, number 23, Kenny Moore. Third on the team in tackles. Really having a nice season for Matt Eberflus and this Indianapolis defense. And he's listed at 5'9", 190, but I know that when you and I were standing at practice on Friday, we couldn't believe that that's how he's listed. He feels so much bigger and thicker in person.
He has been a guy who obviously has hit the weight room, but it hasn't affected his speed. We've seen him down the field shadowing Agnew on a deep ball, all over the field in the run game, and I think that he may be the hardest player to substitute for in this situation on third down when you need your nickel to be able to cover the slot receiver.
That is the end of the third quarter. Jacksonville trails 20-9 on CBS.
It's not 1,000 lights twinkling that makes their holidays special.
Quarter number 4 in Indianapolis, and the Colts have an 11-point lead. And the crowd making some noise. Third down and 10. Kenny Moore right back out on the field for the Colts defense. Here comes the pressure. Lawrence fires, looking for Jones, and he makes the catch. Great adjustment along the sideline by Marvin Jones for a Jacksonville first down, a gain of 23.
Marvin Jones, the Jaguars' most accomplished receiver, realizes that when I'm even and I'm going deep, it's probably going to be a back shoulder throw. So he does that. He gets ready, gets in position, comes up with the catch. Big third down conversion for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
They went at T.J. Carey, who's in there for Isaiah Rodgers. As Sherry told us, Rodgers battling some cramps. Chenault across the 40 and down at the 38-yard line. Isaac Rochelle on the tackle for the Colts.
It was a nice job by Trevor Lawrence. That snap was a little off, and he realized, I got to get this ball out of my hand quickly. You know, if that might have been Carson Wentz, he might have tossed it out there with his left hand.
It's a Jacksonville team that has really given the Colts problems over the last couple of years. Frank Reich in his career just 3-3 against Jacksonville. Agnew in motion. Robinson running left, following the block of Arnold. There he goes. Robinson with a flag down is caught around the 20. But let's see what the penalty marker is.
Jawan Taylor is the only Jaguar who didn't move down the field with that run. But you see Jamal Agnew pointing at the Colts.
Holding defense number 90. This 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play and a first down.
Always a little bit of a stunner when you have defensive holding. So what he's doing is if he gets double teamed, he's trying to hold on to those two guys so they can't get off to the linebacker level.
A 22-yard run by James Robinson. And then with the penalty, they will spot this football in the red zone for Jacksonville. They place it at the 15-yard line. We asked Urban Meyer last night about James Robinson playing, and he said he's about 60-40 to play. And then we said, well, would he be on a pitch count if he plays? And he said, I don't know yet. It looks like they kind of went easy on him in the first half to have him ready to go here in the second half. They go back to him here. Robinson gets 2 yards on the play as we check in with Sherry.
Andrew, when it came to Robinson being upgraded to active for this game, it really came down to pain management, is what I was told. He was testing his heel during pregame warmups, and he really had to gain the confidence, and that's why he was able to play today.
Hey, Sherry, we saw him warming up last week in Jacksonville against the Bills, and he looked pretty good, but they held him out. Another good pregame workout today, and this time they have him in there. And they need points here. Early fourth quarter, down 11. Urban Meyer saying we get paid to score touchdowns, not kick field goals. Lawrence rolling left, has some time, now comes back to the right. Lawrence keeping the play alive, and now he'll keep it himself, running right into Stallworth. Good coverage down the field by the Colts secondary.
What you're trying to get is Tavon Austin out in the flat early in the route. He's going to come and he's going to be behind the line of scrimmage, but that doesn't transpire. And after that, it's just a mad scramble. And you hear about Plaster, getting guys to Plaster. You also got a guy knocked out of the back of the end zone back there. So good job by the Colts. With all that time that Trevor Lawrence had, still nobody to throw to who was open.
Third down and 11. Lawrence on a slant to Arnold inside the 10, and Arnold has the first down. They spot him down at the 1. Big play on third down, a gain of 15.
Kind of a scissors concept between Chenault and Lawrence. And Arnold coming underneath that kind of rub route.
And there is an injured Colt, which stops the clock with 11:35 to play. It is Darius Leonard, who, as we told you earlier, has been dealing with an ankle injury all season. He had ankle surgery in June and has just not been able to get back to 100%. And we take a look again. Leonard involved on the tackle with Arnold.
Kind of gets leg whipped there at the end, and you can't tell if it's the knee or the ankle, but he was in significant pain when he first rolled over.
Leonard, the heart and soul not only of this defense, but of this entire Indianapolis organization. Signing the big contract before week 1, 5 years, $98 million. And Matt Eberflus was asked this week, did the new contract change him at all? He goes, nope, he is the exact same guy. So he gets a nice hand as he walks off, and it will be 1st and goal for Jacksonville after they convert another 3rd down. So after starting 1 of 8 on 3rd down, Trevor Lawrence has now completed his last 4 passes on 3rd down, and 3 of them have been for 1st downs. Robinson, the running back, on 1st and goal. Robinson up the middle, hit, fighting his way forward, and he stopped short. Josh Jones, Andrew Sendejo in on the tackle. Jones, the former Jaguar, he made 13 starts for Jacksonville last season.
When you get down to the goal line, you want those shoulders square, and there's Jones. His shoulders are square. Gets those legs, and that slows Robinson down just enough until help can come. Big fella.
And Malcolm Brown is in at fullback. Farrell in motion. Give to Robinson, up, over, and he is in. Touchdown, Jacksonville. Following the block of the defensive tackle, Malcolm Brown, who came in at fullback, and now they will go for 2.
You talk about quick movement. Malcolm Brown just getting those guys, knocking them back, going into Franklin, going into Kwity Paye. He stood them up, which allowed James Robinson to go up over the top.
6th rushing touchdown this year for Robinson, and now the 2-point conversion would make it a field goal game. This season on 2-point conversions, Jacksonville is 0 for 2.
And it looks like the Colts feel like they need one more player out there. They're doing the count. They got 10 on the field right now.
Rodgers runs out late. And now
Rice runs out late to call timeout.
And a timeout called by Indianapolis, which in a close game in the 4th quarter could come back to haunt them. Having to use one here on the 2-point conversion. First timeout called by either team this half. Lawrence is now thrown for 135 yards on the day. This Colts defense has seen 6 2-point conversion attempts by their opponents this year, and the opponents are 3 for 6.
Trying to get the personnel right are the Colts without Darius Leonard on the field.
Lawrence, shovel pass inside, and they've got it. Arnold with the 2-point conversion, and we've got a 3-point game in Indianapolis. Well executed play by Lawrence and Arnold, and it's 20-17. James Robinson, the rushing touchdown, and then the 2-point conversion to Dan Arnold, and we've got a 3-point game here on CBS. With the Colts about to get the football back, they had 2 timeouts the rest of the way after they had to use one on the 2-point conversion attempt by Jacksonville. Ashton Doolin on the return. Doolin across the 20. And he's able to sneak up close to the 30-yard line. Coming up next, game 2 of our NFL on CBS doubleheader as Russell Wilson takes on Aaron Rodgers. The Seahawks and Packers at Lambeau coming up next here on CBS. And there is an injured Jaguar down on the play. That is Dakota Allen, special teams player and reserve linebacker for the Jaguars. And we'll check on him when we return. 20-17 on CBS.
When you spend on Alexa. And by Ram Trucks, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year for the 3rd year in a row.
Urban Meyer won 3 Big Ten championships in this building, 2014, 17, and 18. And in 2017, it was Meyer's Buckeyes beating Jonathan Taylor and the Wisconsin Badgers. Play action here. Wentz screen. There's Taylor. Miles Jack is able to spin him down. In that game in 2017, Taylor was held to just 41 yards on 15 carries, but Urban Meyer had a lot of nice things to say about Jonathan Taylor. He said, when we would go against him, I would always yell at my assistant coaches saying, why didn't you find this guy for us? Taylor putting up incredible numbers in his time with the Badgers. Second down and 9. Handoff Taylor. Taylor hit and stuffed. Malcolm Brown in at fullback on the touchdown and now making the play on Taylor.
This Colts team is all of a sudden trying to find its identity. There's a double team between Ryan Kelly and Quentin Nelson, and Malcolm Brown splits it. And once that happens, that whole front side is abolished. So now you get a 3rd down long situation. Can Carson Wentz be calm enough in the pocket to find a receiver open down the field?
20, son! Hey, Phil Mickey. Sunday, son!
Quick pass, Pascal, his first catch today, going nowhere. And the boos rain down. A loss of 3 on the play, and out comes the punter, Sanchez, for Indianapolis.
It looked like in the first quarter that it was going to be a technical knockout. That the Colts had the Jaguars on the ropes, down for the count. Has not been the case.
Sanchez punting to Agnew at his own 27. A flag is down. Agnew tackled at the 39-yard line. Tony Correnti has been busy today.
During the return of the kick, holding receiving team number 27. 10-yard penalty, 1st down, Jacksonville.
Penalty number 8 against the Jaguars. Meanwhile, for Frank Reich in this Colts offense, they had 116 yards on their first 2 drives of the game and just 108 on their last 8 drives today. So you credit that Jacksonville defense. They have done a great job of getting this back in position where Jacksonville now has the ball and can drive to take the lead.
And Andrew, I'm going to toss some more numbers at you because James Robinson in the first half had 3 carries for 5 yards. Second half, 8 carries, 50 yards. And Trevor Lawrence, we looked at his passing numbers, 3 completions out of 14 attempts. Well, he's 10 out of 15 in the second half. So that momentum shift, even though the Jaguars are still behind, that momentum shift is on the Jaguars, and it's up to Matt Eberflus to find a way to take all those runs away and make Trevor Lawrence nervous.
Darius Leonard back out there for the Colts. This is Lawrence running it, and not much doing there. TJ Carey on the tackle.
Those design quarterback runs that don't come off as smooth as you like really make you nervous if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars and one of their fans of the #1 draft pick.
Lawrence has run the ball 5 times for 33 yards today.
Got the matchup with Marvin Jones down at the bottom of our screen right here.
2nd down and 9. Lawrence looking for Jones and incomplete. Tried the back shoulder attempt to Marvin Jones, but now it's 3rd and long.
Just a little flat on that throw because he's throwing away from the pressure. Because Marvin Jones has it. Once he looks back there, he's ready for that back shoulder, but that ball's just underthrown by a couple of yards.
Tavon Austin runs out onto the field for Jacksonville for this 3rd down and 9 play.
Darius Leonard is back, so this defensive unit is fired up right now.
So are the fans. Making noise. Week 10 and a good one here on CBS. Here come the Colts. Lawrence takes a shot. Incomplete. Lawrence was drilled. Kwity Paye and Bobby Okereke were back to put the pressure on Lawrence, and Jacksonville will punt.
Great job. Darius Leonard had stepped up, and then he dropped back into pass coverage, and Trevor Lawrence didn't realize that the pressure was coming from the backside.
8th time that Lawrence has been hit today by the Colts defense, and they get the football right back with 7.5 to go. Cook punting to Hines. Good high kick by Cook. Fair catch by Hines at the 16. Logan Cook booms a 59-yard punt. Urban Meyer said this week he's one of the best punters in the league, and he's also the emergency quarterback. And we talked to Logan Cook last night at the Jaguars hotel, and he said that last week when Trevor Lawrence went down with the ankle injury, he started getting a little nervous that it was going to be his time to maybe be ready. Of course, he was only out.
They also told him this past week they expanded his playbook a little bit.
Yeah, there's 2 plays instead of 1 now. 1st and 10. And off to Taylor. He has been bottled up since that opening quarter. Rudy Ford in on the tackle. Ball came out late, but they're saying he was down. And for an injury update, let's send it down to Sherry.
Andrew, for the Jaguars defense, linebacker Dakota Allen, he's dealing with a shoulder injury. His return is questionable.
Okay, big special teams player for Jacksonville, Dakota Allen. Gain of 3 by Taylor, who's now rushed for 115 yards today.
But he's been searching for that hole that he had the first run of the game ever since.
Quick pass to Jack Doyle, and he fights off a tackle to get some extra yards. It was Shaquille Griffin who made the initial hit, and credit to the veteran Doyle for sticking with it to pick up the 1st down.
And a little bit of a low throw from Carson Wentz, but you go down, you get it, and when you turn upfield, you see a defender right on you. It's amazing that that ball didn't get knocked out because he had it on the inside, right there where the helmet of Shaquille Griffin was.
Doyle had 3 catches in his last 4 games entering today, but he's got 3 this afternoon. As we approach 6 minutes to play. Hines in motion. And play action. Wentz in trouble. Steps up. On the move, and he's down just across the 30. It was Malcolm Brown who was applying the heat and then came back. And this Jacksonville defense, especially in the second half, has picked up the intensity.
And it has been a commitment to stopping the run. We see Miles Jack up on that, but you've seen even the secondary guys, Rayshon Jenkins coming down from the secondary, and everybody rallying to get to the football. All defenses like to talk about how much they hustle. Well, we've seen it on the field today for both these units, and especially for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Second and 8. Wentz locates Doolin for the catch. First down, Indianapolis. Doolin out of bounds right around midfield. Andrew Wingard takes him out. A 16-yard pickup for number 16.
A lot of people think that speed only applies when you're running up the field, but when you're running across the field, you're running away from the defender who's already outside of you to start with. Nice job by Carson Wentz putting that ball on the money, allowing the receiver to run after the catch.
And the clock continues to tick. Urban Meyer does have all 3 timeouts remaining. We're inside 5 minutes to go. Hand off to Taylor. And he is cut from behind. That was Adam Gotsis coming across the line of scrimmage to make the play. It's gotten very quiet here at Lucas Oil Stadium. These fans thought they might be on their way to a laugher after the block punt touchdown. It was 10-0, everything going Indianapolis' way. But this Jacksonville team continues to fight. Once again, using all the play clock, they just get it off. Wentz, Taylor hit hard at midfield. Chason on the tackle after a gain of 3 and a big 3rd down coming right here.
When Carson Wentz pumps this ball, that's where he should throw it the first time. Right now the ball should come out, but patting the ball makes Jonathan Taylor go up the field and he runs right into the defenders. Luckily he didn't get injured, but get that ball out quickly. That was your first thought. That guy's open, throw it to him, deliver it right away.
Joe Cullen told us last night that Chason is more physical this season. You saw it on that tackle. And now big 3rd down and 7.
Michael Pittman, 3rd down guy right there.
Wentz with pressure coming, rolling right. Wentz throws on the run deep for Pittman. He's got it. The NFL's leader in 3rd down receiving yardage, and he comes up with a big one of 26 yards.
Ted Marchibroda used to be the head coach here, and he used to have a saying when I played for him with the Buffalo Bills: everybody running, everybody alert. It would have been really easy for Michael Pittman to think, oh, the quarterback's going to scramble, he's going to throw the ball away. You continue to run. Be a key component in the play after it breaks down. That's exactly what Michael Pittman did on that last play.
But James, also, that was an awesome throw by Carson Wentz.
I'm still all into the catch.
I know you're talking about the receivers, but let's give Wentz some credit there too for the throw. Taylor, and he's wrestled down by Josh Allen. On this drive, Carson Wentz 4 out of 4 for 56 yards. And there is a timeout called by Urban Meyer, his first of the half. Two timeouts left for each team. Don't forget, stay tuned for the NFL Today update. That is time permitting. Join JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. Trevor Lawrence hoping he gets another chance. Indianapolis already in field goal range, so if the Jags defense is able to hold them to 3, Jacksonville knows they'll have to go the length of the field and score a touchdown with just 2:43 on the clock.
You know, some of this is incremental improvement, and you look at Jacksonville, what they've done in the second half, that improvement, even just picking up the 2-point conversion, which made it a 3-point game, is improvement.
On 2nd and 9, they give it to Taylor. Taylor inside the 15, but a flag comes in. And the Jaguars are indicating this is against Indianapolis.
Holding, offense number 79, 10-yard penalty, and repeat 2nd down.
That's on the left tackle, Eric Fisher. First time this season he's been whistled for holding. Uncharacteristic penalties for the Colts today. Third fewest entering today, averaging about 4.5 per game, but 7 this afternoon.
Couple things for Frank Reich here. The clock is obviously a factor as he's thinking about calling these plays. Do you call a run? Do you call a short pass where you know the ball is going to be caught and that clock's going to continue to run, and maybe force Jacksonville to use one of those timeouts?
2nd and 19, play action. Wentz steps up, throws over the middle, incomplete, intended for Jack Doyle. And that stops the clock with 2:32 to go. So Jacksonville doesn't have to call a timeout, and it's 3rd and long.
You mentioned about Carson Wentz using those different arm angles to throw the ball. That time, not really having his feet set, side arming that ball and missing Jack Doyle, who was open enough to get the ball to. Watch it coming out sidearm, because Doyle has a step on the defender, and that ball coming outside arm just sails right over Doyle.
From here, it would be a 48-yard field goal for Michael Badgley. Colts want to try to get a little bit closer for the kicker. Wentz over the middle, caught by Pascal at the 25, shoved out of bounds. He's short of a first down, but now a much more manageable field goal for Michael Badgley.
But also a clock stoppage for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So Pascal, if at the tail end of that, had slid down inbounds, then either the clock goes down to 2 minutes or Jacksonville has to use one of their timeouts.
Did get shoved a little bit at the end by Rudy Ford. His momentum leading him out of bounds. So now an important attempt for Badgley, who's 2 out of 2 today. This is from 37 yards away. Badgley right down Broadway. With 2:22 on the clock, it's now a 6-point game.
Would that be down Broadway or down Capitol here in Indianapolis?
I'm not talking to you about the streets after you got us lost walking to dinner the other night. Another look at the kick from Badgley in his 5th game with the Colts. And Frank Reich saying earlier this week, when asked about Rodrigo Blankenship, who's on IR, their regular kicker coming back, Frank Reich said, look, Badgley hasn't missed, so why not ride the hot hand? And that's exactly what they've been doing. Well, now an interesting spot, James Lofton. You got Trevor Lawrence, who's going to get the ball back, the #1 overall pick, with a chance to lead his team down the field and possibly win the game.
Tim, talking to Cam Robinson there, going, I know you got my back. Talking to the offensive line. Those are probably the most important guys to talk to. You talk to the receivers later, but those offensive linemen are going to give you the time to get that ball down the field.
2 career game-winning drives, both were field goals at the end in their wins over Miami and Buffalo. They need a touchdown here. Agnew on the return. Agnew runs into his own man and is brought down at the 24-yard line. 2 timeouts for Jacksonville. And one thing you hear about Trevor Lawrence, and we asked Darrell Bevel, the offensive coordinator, about it last week. He said he is poised and even-keeled. He's got the right makeup for this type of moment.
If you are the Indianapolis Colts and you're in that defensive huddle, you don't want to give Trevor Lawrence the extra out. And by that I mean you don't want to give him a first down on a penalty. You don't want to be offsides in the neutral zone. You don't want to have illegal contact. Be penalty free if you're on the Colts side.
Lawrence pump fakes it as he throws. The ball comes out, and they're saying it's an incomplete pass. Incomplete, and the clock stops with 2:12 to go.
It wasn't a sack, but it was a pressure hit. You brought 4, you covered in the secondary, you got that pressure, and that ball came out of his hands, and obviously that arm is going forward at that moment.
And that is DeForest Buckner, who continues to feast on opposing quarterbacks, having another great season for the Colts. 2nd down and 10. Lawrence over the middle. That pass is caught. Dan Arnold, the tight end, And he gets 9 yards, and they're not going to be able to get another play off before the 2-minute warning. So it'll be 3rd down and 1 when we come back. Jaguars with the ball, down by 6.
You know how some carriers give you so little for your older busted phone you just end up living with?
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Acura, precision crafted performance, and by Verizon, the official 5G network of the NFL.
Back at Lucas Oil Stadium, 2 minutes to go. Indianapolis holding on to a 6-point lead, and it's 3rd down and 1 for Jacksonville.
This is 4-down territory, so you can throw it here if you want to.
They run it. Robinson trying to push his way forward. He does. He's got the 1st down. Remember, Jacksonville with 2 timeouts remaining, so Lawrence tries to get him to line up quickly so they can go. 1:45 to play. This took a while. Lawrence steps up over the middle, caught by Robinson. Robinson caught from behind and tackled at the 45-yard line by Okereke. And the clock continues to tick. But James, they've got to get up to the line quicker than they did the last time.
Yeah, you can look at the play clock going, that should be before 30 seconds. Get that snap off.
1:10 to play. Lawrence right back over the middle to Robinson into Colts territory.
Get a timeout
tackled
here
at the 46. They do call timeout to stop the clock with 1:02 to go. So the Jaguars now have 1 timeout remaining. Just a reminder, coming up next, Game 2 of our NFL on CBS doubleheader today. It's the Seahawks and Packers from Lambeau Field. It's all coming up next here on CBS.
Now, Andrew, I know this is a tense moment for both sidelines, but you know how you have coaches who are into the analytics and all that? I think Urban Meyer, I'm watching him on the sideline, he needs a timeout coach. Somebody who's a little bit faster than he is to run down that sideline, because it took him a couple extra seconds to get that last timeout call. You don't want to be too far away from that official if you want to call that timeout on the sideline.
From the 46, fans on their feet. Lawrence is brought down, and the ball comes out. Lawrence fumbles. No signal yet. Colts indicating they have it, but no signal from the officials.
If the Colts do come out of the
pile, it is Colts football.
Every turnover is obviously reviewed, so we're going to take a look at this. And it wasn't like his forward progress was stopped. He's still moving forward. So let's see what happened in the pile.
Teray comes away with the football. Indianapolis, if it stands, with their 21st takeaway of the season. That's the most in the NFL. Another look. Ooh.
Yeah, that ball's moving. It's out. And Trevor Lawrence, he could just kind of feel that ball moving away from his body. It almost feels like an out-of-body experience when it happens to you.
Very close. They confirm it in replay. And the Colts can take this one with a knee. The Jaguars do call timeout. Lawrence's knee was close to being down, but that ball was coming out before. And the Indianapolis Colts, again, that opportunistic defense.
You know, I think as a rookie quarterback, every game is a learning experience. Trevor Lawrence will think back, I was in the pocket. I could have thrown the ball away somewhere, because that time you would have had to have used another timeout there, and the yardage that you're going to gain is not going to make a huge difference with that many defenders hanging around you.
Dayo Odangbo was the one who forced the fumble. The rookie out of Vanderbilt. And Trevor Lawrence with his 13th turnover of the season. Update the standings, and the Indianapolis Colts, after starting the year 0-3, have gotten it back to 5-5 on the season. These two teams will meet again in Week 18, final game of the year, down in Jacksonville. And you see the frustration from Lawrence. He's done so much better in the turnover department over the last 4.5 games, but a costly one here. And the Colts win it 23-17.
You know, like I said, you want that incremental growth. Sometimes that growth is painful. And for Trevor Lawrence, you learn a little bit about the NFL each and every time. He's through his first half of this division. He's played each one of these teams once. He's going to get a second chance to face them and look at himself in film against those particular defenses.
And James Jonathan Taylor rushes for 116 yards. So that means he is tied exactly with the injured Derrick Henry for the NFL rushing lead. 23-17 is the final. For James Lofton, Sherry Burris, Gene Steratore, this is Andrew Catalan saying so long from Indianapolis. We'll get you back to our New York studios, and game 2 of our doubleheader coming up right after this.
Cashback? Cha-ching.